Hey, what is going on you guys, it's Epic here and welcome back to another Wayfinder video. Before the video starts, I do just want to let you guys know that we are going to be streaming Wayfinder quite frequently at twitch.tv/EpicNNG, so if you want more tips on the game, come over and give us a follow and jump in. Today we're going to be talking about something very important in Wayfinder that you don't want to miss, and it's all about dealing damage. Of course, we all want to deal damage in Wayfinder, and we all can deal damage in Wayfinder, but the way you optimize your damage is going to make the world of difference when you're fighting bosses and clearing expeditions. And it all revolves around a mechanic called break power. But what exactly is break power? Well, let me show you. So in front of me here I have a target dummy, and if I attack the dummy you're going to see its health bar. You're going to see the red bar, which you know as health, but above it you're going to see a yellow bar. Now, you probably haven't noticed this so far in your game, and if you haven't, you definitely want to take note because this is a very important fundamental part of Wayfinder. The yellow bar there is the damage reduction bar for the enemy. Almost every enemy you come across in Wayfinder has a damage reduction bar of some sort. And what's important to note is that while the player definitely does have stuff like physical and magic defense, no enemies in Wayfinder appear to have this. This bar is pure resilience, so you might be wondering, if they have no resistance, then it must be easy to break, right? Well, not necessarily. Some enemies have more resilience than others, meaning it's very hard to break them by just using your sword. Because there are some weapons in Wayfinder that are going to deal more damage to this than others, and this is where the stat called break power comes into hand. To see your break power stat, go into your character screen, and on the right you'll see it with all of your other stats. It's called break power. Mine is rated at 1500. I've been speccing heavily for break power because of how important this is in Wayfinder. On screen you can see a little breakdown of just how break power gets calculated into the damage formula. Basically, in a nutshell, for those of you who don't want to sit there and read this, it just means that if an enemy has their damage resilience bar up, you are going to deal less damage to them. So basically, always make sure that their resilience bar, or their break power bar, in my case that's what I've been calling it, is always broken. Have someone in your team comp who can always do break power efficiently. Like for example, anybody who can get really good damage against that resilience bar. Now, with break power being so important, how do you get around the resilience bar that enemies have if it's so important? Well, there are a few ways you can do it, and I'm going to run through them real quick. Firstly, let's talk about weapon choices. Now, in my case, the best and most powerful weapon I have found that takes care of the resilience bars and has the best possible offense in terms of break power is the sword and shield weapon archetype. The reason why is because if we go over to our abilities tab right here and look at the passives for the weapon, you will see that the shield will benefit from dealing additional break damage. So for example, I have my standard normal attack here with my sword, which is going to do reduced damage to the resilience bar, whereas if I was to go over to this dummy and hit it with my shield, you will see that I break it instantly. But now let's do the same thing to this dummy behind it right here, and you'll see that I only got half of it. So it's one attack versus two attacks. Now, this doesn't seem like it's all that big, but trust me, it makes a world of difference when you are fighting a boss. Another method, if you want to take care of break power really easily, is to use a ranged weapon. In my case here, I have the Ransom. This is just the starting range weapon, and going to the abilities tab and going to the weapon passive shows that this weapon is very unique because it partially ignores damage reduction from armored enemies, aka their break resilience. So if I was to hit this thing right here, it's going to ignore a portion of this enemy's damage reduction and go straight through them. Now, I'm not sure what the exact math is on how much goes through there. If I find it, or if someone knows in the comment section, feel free to leave it, and I'm sure you guys can like the hell out of it. But this is another option for break power. Now, I have also heard that Niss's abilities have piercing, which is able to go straight through damage reduction and go directly to the health bar. And I am unable to confirm that because right now I'm not actually playing this. If someone knows in the comment section, please let me know. But I will say, even though Niss has that ability and that's great for solo players, for team players you still are going to want to break that break power bar regardless. So definitely try and get some ways to break it if you can. And the last thing we're going to talk about for getting your break power up is the most simple one, and that is simply to just get your build together. A lot of people right now are most likely, when they get into the game, going to be prioritizing stuff like their max health, their weapon power, their ability power, and it is so easy to overlook break power, but please do not skip on it. Do not sleep on break power. It is so damn important. There are ways you can get this up. It's very easily. Firstly, your artifacts, for example. You may see here that in my disassembly kit, I have 171 break power. In my Griffin Talon here, I also have 210 break power. In my Spoon of Pristine Fortune, I have 432 break power. But this isn't the only way that you can get break power up. Going over to our Echoes tab here, Echoes are a crucial part of building in Wayfinder. And as you can see with mine here, where possible, I have break power. I don't have it on this one. I don't have it on this one, so I'm kind of slacking here, but I have break power here. This I do not, because this is a boss echo. Same here. Then I have some weapon power here just to get me up, and then same here. And in my last one, more break power. As much break power as I can get, I'm going for right now. And of course, you don't have to freak out over it as much. I'm just doing it because that's what I want to specialize in for my team. Whenever we go into an expedition or boss, I want to have a ton of break power so they can rely on me to break every single boss that comes up. A lot of expeditions in Wayfinder seem to rely on speed. Speed seems to be the key, and with speed being the key, you need to be able to take down enemies as fast as you can. And if they have a resilience bar, you're not going to be achieving that efficiently, which is why break power and getting through that resilience bar is very efficient. Have you been taking a shot every time I've said break power so far? Because you should be. Anyway, with that being said, just a big tip for you guys right there. I wanted to make this video because I feel like this is going to be the thing that people sleep on most in this game. And with people barely being able to get into the game because of server issues, I think it's very important that when you start Wayfinder, you make sure you get this down to a T very quickly. Now, thank you guys so much for watching. What else do you want to see us cover in Wayfinder? A lot of new players are going to be jumping into this game, not just now, but over the next 6 months, hopefully. So there's going to be a lot of tips you're going to want to know when you jump in. What do you want to know about this game? Tell me and I will be happy to help you out, or come over to our Twitch at EpicNNG where we can help you out there as well. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget, break power, and I'll check you in the next one.